Matthew, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Maybe first for everyone, introduce yourself and tell them who you are.
Sure, thank you. So I'm a partner at Vation Ventures, and what we do is work with companies across the high-tech ecosystem to better facilitate that match of innovative companies with the market that they're looking to serve. So we work with everything from venture capitalists and emerging technology to the leading vendors and distributors and partners in the market.
And what's your relationship with IGEL?
Recently, IGEL asked me to help with the creation of a new program which is looking to be launched in the first quarter of 2019. It's focused on the partner model for desktop as a service as IGEL looks to expand its offerings there.
And can you tell me a little more about that?
We want to get the message out today, in fact, because as the market matures for desktop as a service offerings, IGEL's not only looking at how do we enable that market to grow, but what should the business model look like? In working with managed service providers and partners, as looking at systems integrators, what should that licensing model look like to best serve the various constituents and make sure that we can accelerate customer adoption?
So that's been a big change in IGEL's model in the last year or so, right?
Exactly.
That moving from a buy it once, rebuy whenever it needs updating, to what now is a more common model, which is you license it year over year.
Absolutely.
And is that where you see the market going?
We work with a lot of companies of different technology focus where the consumption model has been a key pivot point for them. And that's really enabled the market to grow in new ways. So I think as IGEL, taking a progressive approach to this market, wants to make sure that we get the right input at this stage so we get to Q1 of 2019 with the right program.
And is the consumption model helping growth because there's less capital cost up front? Is that the simplicity of it?
I would say that's a really simple way of looking at it, yeah, that by moving to an OpEx model rather than an upfront CapEx model, that more customers then can take that next step without that upfront investment.
You're obviously close enough to IGEL now that you've seen their business model, and you must know the product well. What's your observation about IGEL, not only in terms of the service they're providing to end customers, but where they sit competitively, especially against some of the big players?
I would characterize IGEL a bit as a sleeping giant, given the strong results that IGEL has had in Germany and in Europe, but a lot of opportunity to bring that message here to the US and abroad. So I think we're doing the right thing by looking at the model and looking at the program now, so that as we go into next year, we can really take advantage of that opportunity and that growth.
And is this a real growth area as you see it? Obviously, you look at the broader technology industry, and EUC is just a piece
Absolutely.
of that, but we see it, or I see it, as something that's really grabbing.
Absolutely. Well, and here being at VMworld and the advent of even more and more virtualization technology, this notion of software-defined infrastructure has really taken hold. And as we think about the multiple as-a-service offerings that we've helped vendors and service providers design over the last several years, the time seems to be now for us to see this part of the market to mature. And as smaller customers expand into mid-sized customers and even larger customers taking advantage of this, we think that certainly the time is now for IGEL.
They made a strategic decision a year or two ago to stop being a thin client manufacturer only, hardware-based, and to be and to drive the business towards being more software, which seems like a very prescient decision.
Absolutely, and we've seen other vendors and other players in the market do the same, where do they find that unique strategic value add in the market, and does it need to be coupled to a hardware platform, or can it be decoupled and instead perhaps reach an even broader audience, which is I think where we want to make sure right now we get the right input from those managed service providers, from those integrators and other partners, so that we can craft that program that meets their needs in the next couple of months and then launch it in January of 2019.
That's great. And what do you think, if I said what one thing is going to make or break success in this space for a company like IGEL in the next 5 years?
I think what will make or break success is flexibility on the business model side. You know, the technology we almost take as a given how strong it is, given the strong traction in the German and European market. But as we look forward, customers, partners, managed service providers, integrators, everyone's demanding a new approach to that business model, and that's what we're looking to solve for.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us here today, Matthew.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.